God bless. I want to give honor to God who is the head over my life. Let us go to Psalms 116, verses 1 through 15. I hope everyone is having a blessed day on this beautiful Tuesday. I love the Lord, for he heard my voice. He heard my cry for mercy because he turned his ear to me. I will call on him as long as I live. The cords of death entangled me. The anguish of the grave came over me. I was overcome by distress and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Save me. Return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. For you, Lord, have delivered me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I trusted in the Lord when I said, I am greatly afflicted. In my alarm, I said, everyone is a liar. What shall I return to the Lord for all his goodness to me? I will lift up the cup of my salvation and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all his people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants. As we go through verses 1 and 2, God loves us to respond to us so you can always reach to him. He bends down to listen to your voice. He gets on your level and looks in your eyes. Even though he has millions of children, he can focus on you totally. This writer loves for the Lord has grown because he had experienced answers to his prayers. If you are discouraged, remember that God is near, listening carefully to every prayer and answering each one in his timing to give you his best. God stayed close to us, even in death. When believers we love is nearing death, we will be filled with sorrow. But we can find comfort in remembering that believers, the Lord's faithful servant, his loved ones are precious to him, and that he was carefully chosen the time when they will be called into his presence. Let the truth provide comfort. When you're lost, a loved one, God sees in each life valuable to him. Jesus' statement in Matthew 10 and 29, when you visit someone who is dying, read these reassuring words to them. Let's get into this. Jesus answered a cry for help. How many of you know that Jesus will answer a cry for help? It could be you laying in your bed. It could be you walking with a limp. But Jesus will answer that cry for help. The cords of death entangled me, and anguish of the grave came over me. I was overcome by distress and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Lord, save me. How many have you called on the name of God? Was it when you were in the hospital? Were you were laying down? When you couldn't breathe? How many of you called on the name of the Lord and he came to your rescue? The Lord is gracious and righteous. Our God is full of compassion. The Lord protects his unwary. When I was brought low, he saved me. I'm going to say that again. When I was brought low, he saved me. How many of you have been brought low, but it was the love of Christ that saved you? Remember to rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. For you, Lord, have delivered me from death. How many people have God delivered from death, from him dying on the cross? My eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before the Lord in the land of the living. Not the dead, the living. God is the God of second chances. I trusted in the Lord when I say I am greatly afflicted. In my alarm, I said, everyone is a liar. God made everyone look like fools. They said, she's not going to live. They said, she is afflicted. They said, her hair is falling out. They said, she looks pale. They said, she will not make it. They said so many things. But God said, I'm going to make them all out of liars. How many will you trust in the Lord? See, it was so many people saying what they wanted to say, but none of it was true. I trusted in the Lord. What shall I return to the Lord for all his goodness to me? Let's see. I'll return a praise. I will return some prayers. I will return some worship. I will return bowing down. I will return being at his feet. That is what I have returned. 13. I will lift up the cup of salvation and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all his people. When I was alone, I couldn't call on anybody. I had to call on Jesus. All the money and all the help that I gave people, I was left alone in a bed I couldn't get out of. My bones were weak. My belly was starving. I called on Jesus. I called on the provider. I called on the helper. I called on prayer. I called for help. And he gave it to me. He delivered me out of my misery. He helped me remove my enemies. And he gave me peace. 15. Precious is the sight of the Lord, is the death of his faithful servant. Precious is the sight of the Lord. When the servant saw the Lord dressed in white, shining as a light, coming to his servant's rescue, tears filled her eyes, or his eyes, because she asked everyone for help. But God came in her rescue. Is the death of his faithful servant. My subject is, how faithful are you to God after he rescues you? God bless.